Hey guys, Sean Dubs here. Guys, I saw this clip going around from head of 343, Bonnie Ross's interview from 2019 with IGN about the future of Halo. It's honestly so funny. It's almost unbelievable. We just have to watch the clip because if I described it to you right now, you would say like I'm lying or something. Like you wouldn't even believe it. It's out of like a comedy skit. All right, so let's go right to it. So Bonnie Ross was answering a question from Ryan McCaffrey for context, okay? His question was basically, since Halo 5, what have you guys been working on? Were there plans to make a game quicker?
Have there been any other versions of a Halo 6? Or is Infinite what's been going on this whole time?
Her answer.
We're releasing Halo 5. There were talks, and I think, when you talk about pushing to get more Halos or pushing the dates or anything, there was talk about, like, could we get another Halo out in 2 years? And so we did look at sort of, I would call it like a Halo 5.5 or a Halo 6 ODST type of thing of a smaller game. We just investigated. I would say there was no dev work on that. And I think it was a really good, like Phil and I had a really good discussion on.
Okay, so they thought about doing a Halo 5.5 potentially, but she talked with Phil Spencer about it and they were like, nah. And why? And why did they not want to do this?
Where do we want Halo to go? Because if we really want Halo to be something that is for the next 10, 20 years, we have to do the work to actually build that foundation. If you want another game, we can do that. I don't think it's the right thing for the fans, and I think it is a truncated Halo game. And my concern was, which Phil agreed, is if we did something like that, I think it kind of, I don't think that Halo would do well after that. Like, I don't think you can kind of put out what I would call a half-baked game on a franchise that's so important and do that unless we actually...
Bro, did Bonnie Ross just say that it would not be good for Halo to put out a half-baked game? I mean, like, that's what she said verbatim.
I don't think that Halo would do well after that. Like, I don't think you can kind of put out what I would call a half-baked game on.
Oh my god, Halo would not do well after putting out a half-baked Halo game. Damn, bro, about a year and a half, a little more than a year and a half before Halo Infinite was supposed to come out. So while they're developing Halo Infinite, while talking about the future of Halo, yeah, she's like, we can't put out a half-baked game. It will damage Halo. It will not be good for Halo. And then they put out a half-baked Halo game. Halo Infinite, without a doubt, is a half-baked Halo game. I will say, if you've never played Halo before, and Halo Infinite was your first game, Halo game, if you've never played Halo before, you might not think it's half-baked, right? Like, the campaign, I still think was very good, so you might not be missing stuff like, no co-op, right? And then the multiplayer, you might be like, oh, well, there's not that many maps, but, like, this is okay. You'd be more worried about, like, desync and the progression and whatnot. But if you've been a long-time Halo fan, it is not even debatable that Halo Infinite is a half-baked Halo game. It is literally the definition of a half-baked Halo game. It's the most half-baked Halo game ever launched. If it wasn't a half-baked Halo game, why has it been 9 months and they're still trying to give us the features that they promised at launch, right? Co-op and Forge were promised before launch, and then, of course, 3 months before launch, so they're like, hey, look, they're not going to be ready. They're going to be delayed. By definition, there's so many delayed features in Halo Infinite and also missing features. It is the definition of a half-baked game is not debatable, okay? And how is it that we have a clip from Bonnie Ross before this game came out? The head of 343 still, okay? She's in charge, all right? I don't mean to be, so critical of her, but the fact is that she's the one in charge. She's the one in charge, okay? She's the CEO, she's the boss. So that's the game, bro. You're in charge. You're responsible.
It's a truncated Halo game, and my concern was, which Phil agreed, is if we did something...
And throw Phil Spencer in there, because she mentions Phil Spencer multiple times just in this one answer. So he was part of this. So you could throw that in there too. Bonnie Ross and Phil Spencer were like, yeah, no, if we put out a half-baked Halo game, the future of Halo will not be good. Remember, this whole interview is about the future of Halo. So it's like a skit. How is it that there's this interview about the future of Halo about the head of the company talking about how they can't put out a half-baked game, it will hurt Halo, and then that's what they did.
Like that, I think it kind of, I I don't think that Halo would do well after that. Like, I don't think you can kind of put out
I don't think Halo would do well. Well, Bonnie Ross, great prediction.
what I would call a half-baked game on a franchise that's so important and do that.
Bro, like, what happened? Like, that's the only question. Is it sabotage? What happened? She said, don't put out a half-baked game. It's going to hurt the franchise. And then they did it. And then they actually did it, bro. They actually did it. This is actually a real clip.